Hey, happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wine Wednesday. Yoo-hoo. Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, welcome. It is Wednesday. Finally, it is. Been waiting all weekend, all beginning of the week for that hour to be with you.
It is time. It is time to just
relax. Time. Yeah.
Life is stressful and we need to take a moment to just relax sometimes.
To unwind?
Unwind. Huh? But not without wine. With wine.
Unwind with a glass of wine. I'm going to have multiple with me tonight. So, yeah, it's time to...
You're doing something interesting. I heard that I'm doing a horizontal, but you're doing a vertical. Is that what
I'm going to do a vertical, and I'm going to pour it live in a few minutes. But, yeah, lots to talk about. A lot to uncork, a lot to talk. This is Wine Wednesday, Carl's Wine Club. Mira Boucher, how are you doing?
Great. I am doing great.
Because frozen. There you go. Oh, that's a good start.
Special in my glass. Can you tell me what these are? I have two. Hey, Leslie. I think Carl froze.
Be crappy. There you go. I'm back.
Yeah, I heard you talking by yourself upstairs.
Oh, yeah, a little talking by myself. I'm just not sure. I'm spinning, so everything disappeared and everything I see. Anyway, we had the Shaw people, the cable people came. We're trying to have that darn thing fixed. But I've heard that when summer comes, the spring comes, the connection can be worse. And I'm like, why? It doesn't make any sense. But when you think about that, it can make sense.
Yeah,
because the cable are not as hard, and the water can also get in the cable. Anyway, like it kind of makes sense. But anyway, the connection is shitty.
Let's talk about wine.
I guess let's talk about wine.
That's what we know more about.
I don't know a whole lot about cables. You're right.
More than I do about the wine.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, it's Foreshadow Week. So it's Foreshadows Week. It's a winery from the Naramata Bench, a small little producer, like beautiful spot on the Naramata Bench. They are farming, I would believe, 12 acres of grapes, of vines, and they make a couple thousand cases of wine. If so, I would say probably less than a couple thousand, but sell some of their best grapes to some of the top player on the market. So it's kind of a fairly new players on the BC wine scene, but make delicious wines. So this week we are tasting, featuring, and talking about Foreshadows. Mira, you're so good at all of these stories. And you know what? I thought I was a good storyteller. I think you're even better. So I will let you talk about Foreshadows. And if you're not ready just yet, I know that you're doing some stuff right now on the back end to make that show look like if it seems less, look like if it's like the perfect production. Let me know if you're ready or not. If not, I can talk about something else.
Oh, yeah, no, that sounds great. So you know what? We encountered Foreshadows last year around Riesling Day.
Yeah. Last spring, actually, a year ago.
At our photos, and that's around the time that we discovered them. I think it was right after Riesling Day. It might have been like someone said, "Hey, you did Riesling Day, but you didn't have Foreshadows." they have a really good Riesling. And they sure do. I think
They sure
that's
do.
glass.
It's in my glass here.
Is that what's in my glass?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I went a different direction. I'm all foreshadow. You're not.
Oh,
Sorry.
have some different things. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what happened with the foreshadow stories? I mean, we often drove by there and we noticed that they'd renovated their tasting room in the last couple of years. It actually just the tasting room opened in 2019. Um, Before that, they purchased the winery, I believe, in 2011, and it was an abandoned winery and vineyard,
But maybe I would say a vineyard, not
more of a
necessarily.
vineyard, not a
Yeah,
wine.
yeah. See,
So Wilbert and Yoka Borren, they have 4 sons. And hint, hint, that's part of the reason why it's called Foreshadows. But they were out in Alberta. They were out in Alberta, rural Alberta, and they had a pig farm for 18 years after they immigrated from Holland, right?
yeah, all of Lacombe, right?
Yeah.
So Lacombe, Alberta, from Holland, passion for farming because that's who they are deep inside. Like Wilbert would say, I'm not a winemaker, I am a farmer, and the passion for farming lead them here, lead them to Lacombe, and lead them to BC. So really, really cool story.
So these are hardworking people. And when they came out well, they fell in love with the vineyard life by visiting here. I mean, who doesn't? Everyone who comes
I
through.
mean, you have to not be a human.
So yeah, I think anyone that comes through the Okanagan sees these beautiful vineyards and they say, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to live here one day? And for them being farmers, they got really interested in the vines and the vineyard side of it. So they bought their vineyard in 2011. They moved their 4 kids over, and the 4 sons helped out in the vineyard. And then they started to get quite a bit of acclaim in the valley for their wine growing skills. They're excellent farmers, and they revitalized the vineyard. And in fact, discovered that up on the hill behind their current tasting room site, up on the hill behind there, they have some exceptional old Riesling vines. So that started to really get their name out there. So back in 2017, they said, you know what, let's make our own wine. Let's give it a shot. Really small vintage in 2017. Lindsay O'Rourke, I believe, from Tightrope helped them that year with the winemaking. And after that, they've been working with Pascal Madavant, who we had the pleasure of meeting. Pascal.
Multiple times, yeah. So Pascal, former, like he's been the winemaker for Osserius La Rose from the inception of Osserius La Rose. The Osserius La Rose project moved them, like literally shipped Pascal Madavant from France to Canada, and Pascal fell in love with. He never wanted, and when they asked him to go back, the La Rose project, they said, okay, now it's time to go back. He's like, nah, not a chance. I'm not going back anywhere. I'm staying here. So Pascal have been in the Okanagan since the inception of Osserius La Rose, became a very sought after winemaker consultant, and has been overseeing what Wilbert is doing from the very beginning, almost.
At Foreshadows, yeah. And so you know, we mentioned Osserius La Rose. They're a big winery. I want to say something. You know, that's one of the cool things about these bigger wineries is they bring in some top talent at times. So that's really cool.
You know, Mira, you're touching something really good. And I know we're talking for foreshadow right now, but we need to touch base on that point, because I always said when people say what would make the biggest difference of like what's one of the big factor of the growth of the quality or the increase of quality in the Okanagan wines or in the Niagara wine by fact as well in the last 10, 15 years. And to me, one of the top 3 factors is the investment that these big wineries, these big the big players on the market have done. They've made some big investment in terms of capital, in terms of knowledge. They invested in our wine school. They also invested in technology. They also invested in studying the soil, studying the terroir, studying and like bringing more best practices around. And you know what? Because the wine industry is such a special industry, it's an industry of collaboration, and they also share their knowledge with people around them. And I thought it brings the industry to the next level. And I think it's one of the facts. So yeah, Pascal was part of that in the early 20 teens. So yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we love supporting small wineries, and Four Shadows is exactly the kind of winery I love supporting because it's a family run affair. It's full of passion, hard work. But I had to give that kudos out to the bigger wineries too, because I think that's, now Four Shadows gets to benefit from Pascal's skills, and we get to benefit from drinking some really good wine that over delivers. So that's my point, is they're farmers. So the grapes are great because wine starts in the vineyard. And then they partnered with a winemaker that is legendary, and their wines are only between $20 and $35 or so. So this is rare, I would say. Wouldn't you say, Carl? It's more and more rare to find these wineries, especially on a prime site like the Naramata Bench, to get these exceptional wines at that price point. This is a good combination.
Absolutely. And that's why I think that they're making their niche, like only 5 or 6 vintage in now. First vintage 2017, second vintage where they increased their portfolio. The first real vintage was 2018. So now we're in 2023. So 2023 is not even started yet. So let's put 2018 to 2022, 4 vintages. And the way that they've built their niche. First, yes, you just mentioned extra beautiful quality grapes, quality wines. It's pretty surprising. And when you get and you look at the price point, now you can connect with a lot of people. So bang on, kudos, because you can't make great juice with bad fruits. That's pretty darn simple. You can't. He's a grower. He makes fantastic. He grows fantastic grapes, and you know what? He found a way to get the right people around him to make great wine. So, and I have that right in front of me, and this is really, really cool to see the trajectory on what they are. It's really it's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So. Yeah, so that's how they kind of got started. What's cool and what I really like about this winery, there's a few things. Well, first I gotta say, I always talk about the people, right? In the story, I was able to track down a picture of the Four Shadows, but in real life, okay? Because I mean, this is the bottle. You've seen the bottle, and where are we? Here we are. The bottle has the Four Shadows, so you can't miss it. Those are the 4 sons of the owners, Yoka and Wilbert. But I think I creeped their Facebook page enough, and I found the real Four Shadows. Are you ready for this, Carl?
Oh, this is the 2 shadows that we have on the
Yeah, the 2 shadows were us. We were walking in our wine glasses were reflecting the moon. It was pretty cool with the shadows. So I think this is the real Four Shadows, and maybe some spouses in there with Wilbert.
Ah, that is really cool. That's the first time that I see that. That is real cool.
So that's their 4 sons. I mean, Carl, you and I, we have 3 sons. And so I think Wilbert and Yoka are our heroes because they got 4 of them. They're still alive. They're still sane.
Yeah. How do you survive raising 4 boys? I have no idea because often I barely survive doing 3. So
yeah, it's amazing. And they're running a winery on top of it. And before that, they had a pig farm. So these are amazing people, and we love their wines. So yeah, that's the Four Shadows story. They do have a beautiful new tasting room, and back behind it, there's also a patio. So if you're ever in the Okanagan, They do some great like charcuterie trays at times, and really nice patio over in the back. So
And the back, and in the back where the patio is, it's right on the vineyard. So you are exactly behind that. It's the vineyard. On the right side, it's Upper Bench Winery. They're right next door to Upper Bench. Upper Bench, I already know the Upper Bench Winery and Creamery. They also make excellent, amazing cheese. But just to tell you, like the both estates are side by side, and you know how fantastic. Well, we've been talking about Upper Bench for years, and they even make my top 10 wine of the years a couple of years ago with their Pinot Noir. But yeah, they're right next door. There's extra neighbor, and that's funny because when you look at the portfolio of Foreshadow, it's fairly similar to what Upper Bench grow as well. Merlot, Riesling, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, a little bit of Pinot Blanc, a little bit of Zweigel. So they had a great understanding of their terroir. There you go. And I might gonna pour a little bit of it just later on, because this was one of the. Oh yeah, that was such a great surprise when I tasted it. So yeah, amazing. Let me recap a little bit before I get into my glass and started to talk about the Merlots. Let's recap a little bit the lineup, if you don't mind, Mira. Would you be ready for that? Okay, let me get into the lineup, because first and foremost, I want to talk about the Pinot Blanc. Pinot Blanc, more and more you see Pinot Blanc in the Okanagan. It's becoming a grape that a lot of people say it's so well suited for the Okanagan. And you know what? I've tasted, like, Black Market Pinot Blanc is one of my favorite. Intersection Pinot Blanc is a really good one. Astor Creek, like, you have a lot of Pinot Blanc producer in the south of the valley, and often with a touch of oak, right? So, but this Pinot Blanc, 100% stainless steel. It's bright, it's crisp. There's absolutely no oak interference on that. So it's just the plain, bright, peachy, and bright acidity of the Pinot Blanc. You get it pure and clean. I thought it was excellent. I blind tasted a bunch of winos a couple of weeks ago at our usual Friday wine party, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, this is good. Where's that come from?" So I was glad to see the very positive reaction from all of our little vinyl groups, the group that we have. I gave it a 90 plus points, really close to 91 points. Well priced, just under the $25 mark. Like I said, crisp, bright. This is a beautiful summer wine. I love it. It's got 100 cases produced. Very, very small production. So yeah, you can't go wrong. You want something fun there? I like that. So that's the first white, the Pinot Blanc. The second white. This is the award winning. This is what they're making. They've made their reputation on. First was to grow some exceptional Riesling grapes, where some of the top Riesling producers in the Okanagan were sourcing their fruits from Wilbert's vineyard, from the Foreshadow vineyard. And a couple years ago, 3 years ago, Wilbert said, "Well, you know what? If everyone wants my grape, I should maybe try to make my own Riesling." So this one just won gold a couple weeks ago at the Lieutenant Governor Award. So they made two Riesling. They make the dry Riesling. They make the classic Riesling. We're featuring the classic Riesling. We are the first to have access to the classic Riesling 2022, the brand new vintage. At the winery, they're still on 2021. We have first dib at it to showcase that to everyone in the country. The 2022 just won gold, and they want to hold it a little longer, maybe for the rest of maybe until mid-June. So you want to get that? is the only place to get it. 92 points. I give it 92 points. Who else? I think BC Wine Trend give it a 92 point. And something we need to talk about that Riesling. It's 30 grams of residual sugar. Now some people are like, what? 30 grams? That must be so sweet. And again, I've talked about that topic multiple times before, and I want to get back at it. It's not because the RS, the original sugar, is high. It's not a data that you have to take on its own. You have to put context around the 30 grams of residual sugar. This with bright acid, when the acid match the sugar, you get a balanced wine. You got something with layers, something with like something who's going to get your mouth water, plus that texture and that tropical fruit flavors. So this is perfectly made. This not okay. No, I can't say perfectly. It's not 100 point, but this is pretty darn good for under $25. Are you kidding me?
It's really
fantastic. Like, I mean, how, like, you, when we talk about summer sipper, you talk about a patio wine or patio pounder. I'm telling you. And I think, is it like something like 9.9% alcohol? Let me check here. Yeah, under 10% ABV. So really cool, like 9.9, low alcohol, full of flavor, beautiful balance. What's your take on that Riesling, Mira? Because you're not a person who necessarily seek sweet stuff, right? When it's sweet, I know your reaction pretty quickly. So what's your take on that?
Oh, it's gorgeous. I really like it. I know because when you pour some in my glass, it depletes really quickly, like evaporates or something. So it's a really
no, everyone, don't listen. Don't believe her. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't evaporate. She drinks it.
Maybe. Yeah, so it's a great Riesling. And I mean, we were so spoiled the last couple months with Rieslings. We had the Suan Riesling, which is outrageously amazing.
We had the Fogelar special. Like, we went from a $14.95, but here we have different style of Riesling. This is BC Riesling. This is more on orchard fruit. You don't have the same limestone. It's a different profile. So yeah,
very enjoyable, I would say. So yeah, that is the Riesling. We love it.
Oh, do we have a sick kid right nearby? I can hear him
a little bit. Last he was even more sick. So
I know, eh?
Yeah.
So we also have a rosé, a nice blend of Merlot and Pinot Noir. Taking two of their favorite grapes, grows from the property, and making the best out of it. You know what? It's another crowd pleaser, something easygoing. There's nice texture, there's richness. This is slightly off dry. And you know what? I like the length of that rosé. It's not the rosé who's going to rewrite the story of the rosé wine in BC. But you know what? There's different style out there. This is Merlot, Pinot Noir Merlot. It's Naramata Bench. It's well priced, and all of that together. Next week we're gonna talk about Geek Rosé. We're gonna talk about single vineyard, single varietal, some of the most sought after rosé in the country. Stay tuned, bunch of geeks. Stay tuned, you guys, because I know that you know what I'm talking about. Next week, we're going 7 direction. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. That's absolutely what I'm talking about. But not this week. This week, we have one rosé among 9 other wines. And this one fits the bill. It just fits the bill. It's just a nice crowd pleaser. Well done. So there's also, oh, go ahead. No? Yes?
Very loud where I am.
That's okay. That's okay.
So, Yeah, I love that rosé, and it's great with food too. So it's just a great wine to have on hand in the summer. Um, are we moving on to? Oh, there's another white. Do you want to talk about the other white? This is a
I,
pick.
I,
This is a bonus pick.
yeah. The Chard. I was about to talk about at the end, but yeah, Chardonnay, a 90-point Chard, and the reason it's just elegance. This is not the most complex Chardonnay on the planet. Again, this is a under 30. It's a $26 or so, $27 Chardonnay. It's elegant. That's a nice blend between second fill oak, neutral oak, and stainless steel. 60-40 split. So you have freshness. And crispness like green apple and citrus, surrounded by that little almond cookies, fresh baked croissant, who brings texture, who brings complexity, nice finish. So to me, it's a nice, elegant, medium body Chardonnay, Passepartout that I like to like. It's a jack of all trade. This is not like your crazy Guy Bachelder type of Chardonnay, but it's a nice $27 Chardonnay. So 90 points. Also, I think it was 91 point BC wine trend. So from a great vintage, well done, well produced. So yeah, so that's for the whites and rosés. And you also, sorry, I have a little something here. So moving on, red. We have two. Hey?
Do you need to come downstairs and get some water?
Yeah, no, no, that's fine.
This is one of my very favorite finds from this winery. This Zweigelt, which I have not had too many of, but I've had enough to know that this is a well-made one.
This is good. I like the way it's made. It's medium body, a little smoky, not smoky smoke like fires at all. It's a little bit like barbecue grill, and it will be so good with all of the food on the grill. It's a low tannin type of grape. So Zweigel, originally from Austria, so it's an East European type of grape. It's the king grape in Austria, and made like it's just well made. I would say like it's blue fruits to me. It's blueberry pie. It's a little cassis. There's a beautiful density, great texture. It's soft. I like the nose, a little floral, a little bit of earthiness, and on the palate, look at that. I don't know if you can see that color. It's purple. If you had put that in my glass without seeing anything, I would have said it's a Malbec. That's that kind of the purple, the same purple hue than the Malbec. And I love it. It's just soft and round. And there's that little like bright finish, like little cranberry on the finish, who brings that European flair. Like just like awesome wine.
Yeah, that's a great summer wine to have around for very nice. What would you pair that with, Zweigelt? Because we don't have it often, and it's not like a big wine that wants a steak. It's not like that.
No, not at all. No, it's very low tannin. It's all on softness, right? I like to pair like these flavored sausage.
Like one of those that has like blueberry or something or cranberry.
That's it, right? That's it. And even if there's a few like with a little kick in there, that would go great with that. A little pork chop. Pork chop on the grill, please give it to me. Something like a little like Napolitan pizza or a cheeseburger, like simple food, but something it's so versatile. To me, it screams barbecue. So I like it. This wine has been open now for 4 or 5 days. Screw cap. And guess what? It still shows tremendous. I like it.
That's amazing. We have done too much. I mean, Daryl always says, "What the heck is leftover wine?" Right, Daryl. But we do get more and more of that because we're tasting so much lately. And it's really interesting to see a lot of wines do fall flat, which is okay because it just tells you maybe that's not the one to hold on to for 10 years. And then some of them surprise you. So
Absolutely. Some of them are like, wow. I'll tell you. Next week we have Seven Direction, and after that we're gonna have a very, very, very special winery. I can't wait for that one. Anyway,
that one's been surprising us a lot the last couple of weeks. We have one that
it didn't surprise me a lot. It absolutely blew my socks off. Like this is bachelor level. It's leaning post level. It's ice cellars level. It's Black Hills level. I can't wait. It's Clausen Chase from Prince Edward County. Okay.
There you go. A little.
I have on the table downstairs wine open for 12, 13 days right now. And I'm still every day pouring a little bit just to see where it's at. And there's a couple of these wines who are still freaking strong and straight as an arrow. 14 days in, open. And now we're talking about like 80% of the bottle gone. So lots of air in the bottle, lots of contact with oxygen. Still like solid like that. So anyway, yes, Daryl. Yes, Daryl. And I believe that I may have bugged you a few times with a few pictures directly on your messenger. Yes, I think I did. And you know what? I was proud of it. So the Zweigel, I love it. I just love it. It's well made, and I like the texture too. So that leads me to their Pinot Noir. I think the Pinot Noir was a silver medal. 92 points from BC Wine Trend. I made a mistake to taste that Pinot Noir after that I tasted all of the Clausen Chase Pinot. And but you know what? It's a great. I love that little BC Pinot. Naramata Bench. It's right across between Old World and New World. I like there's a hint there. There's a little touch of earthiness, touch of like forest floor, mushroom, but there's also on the front palate, there's also that beautiful not bright, like ripe fruit. Like we're talking like ripe raspberry, a little bit of blue plum. There's a decent body to that. And also a nice weight. This is not a lighter style or a Burgundian style at all. It brings a little bit more of the California, maybe Santa Barbara style of Pinot Noir as well. So a cross between the old and the new world, well made. That's the only wine here over the $30 price range, but still make a price point. It's a nice, I like the touch of spice at the end with the Pinot Noir. So here you go. And that leads me to the trilogy of Merlot. If you ask me, there's one rock star wine on this pack, and I'm going to taste it in the next few minutes. So I have 2018, 2019, 2020. We have 3 Merlots from 3 consecutive years. The first vintage was a very small crop of the 2017. So and I have it here, actually. I tasted that at Super Bowl this year. I was with a friend of mine in Okanagan Falls, and that's the bottle that I brought. That's the 2017 Merlot. And that's what really told me, like, I really need to revisit these guys because I was so impressed. And we had a long lineup of wine at Super Bowl, and this one really stood out. So anyway, 5 months fast forward, we have this week 2018, 2019, and 2020. It's great because there's 3 completely different expressions of Merlot. Mira, I had you go through the trilogy on Saturday night, I believe, and it was pretty telling, like how different these wines are, right?
Yeah, they are very different. It's the same vineyard, right?
Same vineyard, absolutely.
Same winemaking team, same, location, everything. But yeah, different vintage expression, right? So
Yeah, but also I see here, especially for your young winery, you see the evolution of winemaking. You see the evolution of where they want to be, the evolution of also they're trying new stuff, right? Because now Wilbert is making more and more of the decision. Pascal is there. Pascal Maramon is there on speed dial if Wilbert has question. But Wilbert makes the wine now. So, he's trying some stuff, what is going to be his own winemaking personality. So you can, early on, that's often what you see. You see some stylistic change because winemakers are trying different things. They're learning stuff throughout the years. They're hearing stuff from other people. Oh, maybe I should try this. It takes usually 10 years to establish your own house style. So it's great to see that because now we can see. So I have 2018 here. I'm going to start. So 2018, right in front of the light, can see it. Anyway, 2018.
The labels have stayed consistent from what I can see in the last 3 years. So they all look like this lovely bottle here.
Yep.
And
yep, all the same. So 2018 from the get-go, it was herbaceous. Like the first thing when you get your nose in there, it's like it's dry, mixed herbs, a little earthiness, red fruit. It's red currant. It's raspberry. It's strawberry, more red fruit, herbs, and floral note. Sorry.
The only thing more impressive than when you describe a wine, Carl, is when you describe a wine with the same level of enthusiasm and detail, like years after you've tasted it. I've seen you do that. I think even in this live. So, gotta say that.
Yeah, and I remember clearly the 17 when I tasted it, that not 3 years ago, but 6 months ago. And 17 is clearly right on the 19. Like 17 and 19 are like twin brothers.
Huh.
Absolutely. So 18 is a little bit of an outlier, a little bit more. I know there was Forest Fire was a big deal on 18. On 2018 across the valley. Maybe there was the early pick. No, I was reading today the technical note. Pretty much all of the vintages of the Merlot are picked at around the same time. But red fruit, low alcohol. So now you're going to see that winemaking change stylistically with the alcohol level. So we had 14.3. It feels really fresh. It feels bright. It feels. This wine is peaking right now. There is not going to be, I don't see this wine improving. This wine is at its maximum potential, maximum window of drinkability. It's right now. And from now until the next 2 to 3 years, that's where we're at the top of the bell curve here. It's a good wine. It's just around the $30. It's a library wine. You can find that wine.
Oh. I don't know if you guys are seeing a frozen Carl, but I sure do. Oh, no. Okay. We'll see if we can get him back.
Oh, yeah, and I'm back. So where did I left?
So you were talking about the 18. You just finished talking about the 18, or just about to?
Yeah. Where did I left with? Was I on the bell curve or?
Yes, the bell curve.
Yes. So yeah. So it's really cool to see. To have that because it's not available anywhere anymore. There's just a few cases left at the winery. So it's cool to have that as a benchmark to see where the evolution is going. So really cool because like I said, like $30, $31. So very, 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 very well priced. So this is a 2018. Now we're moving on to 2019. And this is the rock star wine of that pack.
Because it seriously over delivers, doesn't it?
This blows this price point out of the water. Like it's not even close. This 2019, I would pay $45 without a blink.
What?
With what's in my glass, with what I've tasted the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, we'll see what's on the days. Now it's Wednesday. Last year did it, so it's day 6 now. Open. The nose is still clean. So we're okay. Let's compare now. Okay, I just described 2018. 2019 on the nose, it's more darker fruit. We see a little blend of red and black fruit, ripe raspberry, a little bit of blackberry, black currant. There's some dark chocolate on the nose. There's a hint of licorice, just a little touch of herbation of herbs. On 2018, there was a bag load of herbs. Bag load of herbs. Oof, that sounds wrong. But
It was very herbaceous.
The 18s, but 2019, I get a little bit more of the dark fruit, a little and chocolate on the nose. So let's get it a try where the palate is at.
Yeah. See, Carl's excited. That's the excited face.
That's still delicious on D number 6. Rounder palate, definitely a little bit more oak influence here, but it's not an oak bomb. Like it's not at all. The fruit is clean. The flavors are very defined. That's what's make that 19. There's a precision of flavor and the burst. Like when you bite into a really juicy fruit and you feel the burst of flavors. That's what I get. The mid palate, the dark chocolate that I got on the nose is getting into like that chocolate on the mid palate. That I have a little bit of cigar box who brings extra complexity, and it finishes with a long and spicy finish. So I like the length. I love the texture. The tannin are resolved. The tannins melt, absolutely melt on the finish. They're there, but they're not aggressive at any point in any way, shape, or form. This is a beautiful wine. This is gracious. It's harmonious. It's balanced. Medium plus body. And I gave it a 92 plus. I'm not the only one. It was a gold medal. I think it's Wine Align who gave it a 92 point as well. Bang on. This is a $28.99 wine. And like I mentioned earlier, I would pay without a blink $45. It delivers easy for $45. So amazing. I'm just oh, I love it. And
I think there's one more wine in the lineup, which is the 2020 Merlot, right?
That's the 2020.
We still want to hear from Wilbert. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true. So I forgot about that. I was covering the whole hour.
So what we didn't mention is that Wilbert is traveling tonight, but yesterday he and Carl recorded an interview. It's not super long. He's in the tasting room and had a quick chat with us. I think it's still really worthwhile to hear a little bit from him directly. So tell us about the 2020.
2020, bigger, bolder, higher in alcohol. That's where I'm seeing this maybe a little bit like trying to find a style. To me, it's not as flawless as the 19, but it's bigger, bolder. People who like their big, bold, full body wine with higher alcohol, this is for you. Rich, big, bold, black fruit. Now it's blackcurrant, blackberry, cassis, like it's jammy. There's a lot of kirsch, licorice, What else? Like tobacco, but there's also on the palate, there's that coffee grind in the middle, who's bringing a little bit of torrefaction. And the finish is similar, though. I get that bold, that spicy finish as well. So, but much bigger, much bolder than the other two. This is completely this is the two skinny boy, and they have the big brothers walking by with the big muscles, and they're like, "Huh? Are there really brothers?" No, this is much bigger. So
yeah, very interesting to see.
Really interesting.
Said, because I mean, who was it? It was Mark Simpson, right? Who has Sonora Winery? He and Siren's Call. He said, talent is part of terroir. So the people who make the wine and their style of winemaking, they influence what makes the wine different, right?
Absolutely.
So we have the same vineyard, the same grapes, the same winemaking.
I guess what? This on D6 hasn't blinked. Hasn't blinked at all. I mean, it's at the same level. Like, wow, it's pretty impressive.
That is awesome.
Yeah. That's going to age a long time.
That's got a good structure and backbone to it, hey?
Yeah. It hasn't blinked at all. Wow.
And I think it's the least expensive of the three.
Yeah, $26.99 for a premium Merlot. Like it's crazy. Really, really cool.
Yeah, over delivers for sure. They're all
not even that. No doubt.
Excellent.
So yeah.
So should we hear from Wilbert? Wilbert and Yoka are the founders of Four Shadows. You can see them with their kids here. So Wilbert is the fourth one in with the black shirt and jeans. Yoka has the orange pants and the white shirt. Those are their four shadows, their four sons, right? So really cool story. Let's hear from Wilbert.
There you go. So we are with Wilbert. Wilbert, how's it going?
It's going great, Carl.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a beautiful week.
For me.
It's great to see you. What a beautiful week here in the Okanagan. You know what? We had some rain over the weekend, some great sunshine last week, and now I believe that the vineyard, it's all fully bursting with Bud break. There you go.
There you go. A little help there, Carl. I'm going to turn your volume up a little bit again. There we go.
Are we good now?
Yeah. It's a little background noise here, so I kind of missed it there for a little bit. But so because we are in the tasting room, as you probably can see behind us here, we got some wine on display, and so things are happening right now. We got people coming in and out. So
you know what? That's the real season starting up. You know, mid-May. That's where it started. Like things starting to kick up in the Okanagan. So when does the tasting room open?
We opened actually last weekend and 7 days a week.
Wow, so, full on right out of the gate.
Yeah, so we opened 7 days, and last weekend was amazing. We just been blown away. During the week is still, if you're coming out to the Okanagan, you don't want to see traffic. Then or at the wineries, during the week is better, of course, but weekends are amazing. Yeah, for us.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. And before we start talking about the winery and all, I want to talk about your story a little bit. Okay, Wilbert. So you and Yoka are from Holland. Am I correct?
Yeah, you got that right.
So from Holland to Lacombe, Edmonton. So just outside of Edmonton. What bring you to Canada?
Well, I grew up in a farming family, even though not on a farm myself. Many of my relatives were farming. So I wanted to farm. So at the time, it seemed to be impossible to do that in Holland. So I just, as an exchange student, actually worked for a dairy farmer for a couple of years and never left. And after 5 years, milking cows for somebody else. Met my wife in the meantime, also from Holland, but met in Alberta.
Whoa! Pause that. You met here in Canada, not over there.
No. We met here in Canada. It's what? If you are I'm not sure if it's still like that, but back in the days, 1988, 20 years old, I give it away there, I guess. But basically, Friday, Saturday nights, we went to the pub, and that's where you met other fellas, other Dutch people we knew. Okay, that's where the Dutch guys, all a lot of the farming boys. And yeah, anyways, the one time in this Irish pub in the Crown and Anchor, actually, it was called back in Red Deer, Alberta. Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's and from
That
there
is
on, yeah,
fascinating.
whatever.
I thought you guys moved here together. That's awesome. So you met her here in Alberta, and after that you went to pig farming, correct?
Yeah, so after 5 years working on a dairy farm, realizing that was pretty hard for us to get into ourselves financially. 1988 was a good time to buy a small farm back in Lacombe, Alberta. No, actually, that's not 1988. That's when I came. So, what is it? Oh, man, time flies. 1993. That's when we actually managed to get into this small farm, and we grew it over the years. Got bigger, and so expanded it. But the winters are harsh in Lacombe.
You tell me. I spent 20 years in Calgary. So with all the respect that I have with all of my friends and all members in Calgary, I know what you mean.
We love the community in Lacombe. We got 2 kids that moved back again down there afterwards when we moved here in 2011. So selling the farm back in Alberta, bought this place, in Naramata, or the exit Pentic, the Naramata Bench. And here we are.
That's and what and was it the plan? Is this like wine was something that you had in mind? Was it a passion of yours, or it's just an extension of farming?
Farming is passion. So that's what we do. And so if you sell your farm in Alberta, you want to come to the Okanagan. What kind of farm can we what kind of farming can we do here? And so by driving around, looking around, all the way from Salmon Arm to the American border of Grand Forks, really love the area in Grand Forks. Anyways, 2011 was a perfect time for us to buy real estate here in the Okanagan. And so our eyes just fell on this property. At the time, 8.5 acres of vineyard. The total property is 17 acres. So we got another about 4 acres, 12 acres of vineyard now, of the 17. So just to grow grapes, learn how to grow grapes, and yeah, that's what we did for the first 5 years when we moved here, and really no intentions of starting to make wine. But after 5 years growing grapes for other wineries, and just it became logical to us, or whatever you call that. That's the next step is making wine, and with the help from local wineries, and later on Pascal Madavon, our French winemaking consultant, they taught us how to make wine. And well, you be the judge, and I hope your customer will be the judge.
Well, you know what? The result is pretty stunning. I'll tell you one thing, and that's what we had that conversation this weekend with some other folks from the wine industry. Say how crazy, how quick you picked up, how fast the progression and the improvement happened. Because first, you were not a viticulturist. You were not a grape grower by any means, and you turn around a pretty beat up vineyard into one of the top place on the Naramata Bench.
Thank you.
And some of the best, some of the big names in the industry, some of the top producer were going after your grapes. So that means a lot of the quality of what you were growing. And I've tasted your first vintage of Merlot, the 2017, and I tasted it late last year, and I'm privileged enough that this year we're featuring 3, 18, 19, and 20 side by side. So I've seen the whole production of Merlot, like the 4 years, and this is stunning to me to see that progression from the very beginning, and how like the purity and the cleanliness of the of your Merlot. So, but now, not being a viticulturist, growing grape for some of the best name in the industry, making your own wine, and starting to get awards like right out of the gate. For God's sake, like you were born to be a winemaker.
Well, like I said, we had. I have to admit, we are kind of mind blown and humbled by the results of the wine. And talking with Pascal about it too. And I think we can give it, if we want to give ourselves credit. I think there are blessings that are out of our hands, but also, like Pascal mentioned, by nature we are farmers, and so we know when you need to, there are the times that you just need to put in the hours and just keep going, but have a feeling. And I think I know my wife has green fingers. So she really set the tone right in the beginning to be very precise at what we're doing in the vineyard. And yeah.
And I'm looking at the portfolio, and I've tasted like lots of your wines. You have now, you said like 11 or 12 acres out of the 17 growing grapes. So I know that Riesling just won another gold medal. The both Riesling, your classic and your dry, are earning double gold and awards like all over the place. I saw Pinot Noir and I tasted the Pinot Noir. So you have multiple awards. For you, as a farmer, as the owner of your land, what do you think grows the best on your property? What do you think that the Bench property on Upper Bench Road, where you're located, what's the best grape suited for that land?
Well, I'm blown away with the results of the Riesling because it's on a pretty warm site. So you would ask yourself, why would you plant Riesling there? Which, so looking at the results of a Riesling, you would say it's the Riesling. If I look at the Merlot, the quality of our Merlot, I would say we get probably a true representation of our Merlot on the bench here. So between the two, I would say Merlot and our Riesling, complete opposite in a way, right?
I know, and that's pretty cool because, and when I taste the wines, and if you have asked me before the interview, I would have said my opinion. It's the Riesling and the Merlot. That's what stand out to me. I'm not saying anything wrong about the other wines because there's some gems in there. I love the Pinot Blanc. I love the expression of the Pinot Blanc. I love the expression of the Zweigel. And I'm a little bit of a geek in that sense that I like these old European varietals. And when I get to the Zweigel, I'm like, oh my God, this is really cool. And the expression of the Zweigel. But this darn grape is pretty finicky, right? And this one can give you a hard time sometimes.
Yeah, the Pinot, I mean, that's why we see sometimes a little less production than other years. We got to be very sensitive about how we pick those. The growing season, we again there too, depending on the weather, we do see maybe a little bit of arthritis in there, but as long as we the weather is favorable, we can we can control the water with irrigation. Of course, if it comes falling out of the sky, it's out of our hands. But yeah, it's probably the trickiest one that we grow. But yeah, it's
Yeah. So much fun chatting with him, and it's always interesting to read the story, get to know the story, but then when you actually meet the people behind the story, that's even better, isn't it? You might want to get off mute, Carl.
There you go. There you go. I was saying just like it's helped to put stuff in perspective, right? From sometimes you have people who develop the lands, people who've been working like Richard De Silva, right? Like he's been doing that like for
I think we lost you, Carl. Sorry. So I think that maybe I'll go get you, Carl. I don't know if you can hear me. I think you should come downstairs and we can finish off from here. That would be smart. It was really great to see all Canadian wine lovers. What's happening in the next few weeks is that Carl is actually going to Singapore and Bali. And that's very exciting for him. It's a work-related type of trip. So he's going to be working with some great people out there. And
okay, I'm done with that bullshit upstairs. So sorry, I'm here down.
With the internet.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm hoping that in a month everything's gonna be fixed because I am really, really sick of that shit.
Yeah, not good. Worst comes to worst, I'm gonna run a line of cable out to the street where the Shaw box is, and we'll fix it ourselves.
Anyway, I think Mira was just telling you all that I'm out of here very soon. So yeah, it is my last show for the next 3. Next week we're gonna
4, I think.
I'm gonna be back for the 4th one, I believe. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing some fun, new, exciting things for these Wine Wednesdays. Really exciting, fun things. We will have some interviews that are recorded, but a little bit better sound than what we just had. So we've done some great recordings for the coming weeks, and also some fun things with members that while the Carl is away, the mice will play. So we will do some good things.
Exactly. I'm going to be watching you guys 15 hours ahead on the other side of the world. So don't be surprised to get some few guest appearances here and there.
On the beach.
No. I won't do that.
In Bali. No.
I won't do that. There's no Speedo. There's no
real wine in Bali. It's very hard to find wine. And hard to get it in there because I said, bring some Canadian wine with you, but they really like to confiscate the wine. I think.
That. And what's there, it's they buy bulk juice from Australia and they bottle it in Bali. So yeah, it's not necessarily. I'm gonna be maybe searching for some gems in Singapore though. See if maybe I can do a few cool little thing in Singapore, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Elaine. So yeah, it will be a great month ahead. Now, if you have been hearing about this rosé vertical that we're doing, it is a historic vertical.
Baby.
I have to say, we're doing things a little backwards than the way they're normally done. With a historic event like this, where we're tasting vintages of rosé, single vineyard, same winemaker, going back to 2012.
Single vineyard, single varietals, one of the toughest thing to do in winemaking. Add up to rosé, it's one of the toughest style of wine to make because it demands such precision. So single varietal, single vineyard, rosé for 12 years in a row. That freaks me out. There you go. So it's never been done before. There's never had a tasting in Canada with 12 vintages of rosés. Like the saying, right? You need to drink your rosé in the year after production or the following year.
That's what they say.
That's it, right?
But
we're not talking about Daniel Baltrin. We're not talking about the rosé master. We're not talking about that freak who makes rosés like no one else in the country. So look at the second bottle here. Okay, the second from the left, pretty dark. Eh? So I had the chance to taste that bottle with Daniel 3 or 4 weeks ago, and you won't believe it. It's 2013 vintage. You won't believe that. Like there was like
The freshness still.
that was crazy. That's
was
crazy. That's
amazing.
where like my brain started to go whack. And my brain was going crazy. And I was looking at the stack of boxes that he had in his warehouse.
And we said, Daniel, what are you saving these back vintages of rosé for?
And he said, well, maybe it would be cool one day to do a vertical. And I'm
Like
one day?
like this summer, one day, like with us one day. So we managed to work out that, unlike most things like this, where usually it's open to the trade, it's open to
the media.
Media,
Like, you want to do that for
wine critics,
big media exposure, right?
big names.
Yeah, but
We
no, we're
said,
doing it backward.
We're gonna flip it. First is gonna be the wine lovers, the people who love rosé the most in Canada. We want them in the room. And it won't be a lot of people because we got like 2 bottles of each vintage right now, right?
Yeah, so it's 18 people, right?
So yeah, 18 people who get to taste these rosés going back to 2012.
12 years, 12 bottlings.
So if this is something that makes you go, I'm ready to like jump on a plane, get in the car and go check this out, is super cool. It's going to be at our place. It's going to be right by the lake. And
well, the cool thing is half of these, well, more than half of these wines are coming from a single vineyard from Summerland. It's called the Tractor and Vines Vineyard. It's just under an acre of vines who produce some of the top premium grapes. And it happened that it's a stone throw away from our house. So it's really, really telling, and it makes so much sense that we're going to do the tasting right next to the vineyard.
Now, Daniel and his wife, Christine, they're co-founders of the winery, and they have been working on their own tasting room in Coston in the Similkameen.
Absolutely.
With
beautiful spot, by the way.
Their own vineyard. They've planted Grenache. It's going to be like the Solum Rosa vineyard.
Solum Rosa is going to be one of the only vineyard in the country to be dedicated to rosé only.
Amazing. But the winery is not quite done passing all the hurdles with the government to get all the certifications in place. It's not quite done being constructed either. So we are going to have this not at the winery this year. It's a very special event, tasting all these rosés. So if you're interested, the point being is that we have only spoken to a few people so far. And everyone, most of the tickets are gone.
Everyone that we've spoken for
said, I will be there. So if this is something that is tugging at you, you're saying, this is a bucket list thing. I love rosé. I want to be there in the room when we taste these 12 rosés. Then contact us like in the next day, because we could save you a spot or two to be in there. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be amazing. But don't worry if you cannot come in person. We are going to cover the whole thing for you guys through video. We'll write about it. And you will hear all about it and how it went. And it will be almost like being there. Almost. But not quite.
Without tasting the wine.
Without tasting all the wine. But it's still a fascinating learning experience.
Exactly.
Which is what this is all about. I mean, it's basically like someone who doesn't know a ton about rosé, right? Once I go through those 12 vintages and hear the winemaker talk about this and hear you talk about things, it's like a masterclass in rosé. Like, this is going to be a phenomenal learning opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Very excited, guys. Oh, someone's getting tired, so we better let you go.
Wow.
Cheers.
So, but this is...
You never told me what was in my glasses.
Oh, yeah, 2 Sauvignon Blanc, because soon we're going to do...
yes.
Yeah. Soon we're going to do... When I come back, the week that I'm coming back. So, let me give you a quick recap, okay? This week, this is Foreshadow. So fantastic value wines from the Naramata Bench. We have 9 different wines available. So if you're looking for a little gem, there you go. Next week, we're going straight to rosé. We're going to do the national premiere of Daniel Bonterin 7 Direction, Tractor and Vines Pinot Noir Rosé, and Fruitville Ridge Cabernet Franc Rosé. So we're the first
phenomenal rosés, and also completely over delivered for their price point.
tiny production.
Tiny
Really
production.
small production. So we're gonna feature Danielle and 7 Direction next week. After that, we're going to Prince Edward County to do Clausen Chase. I'm telling you, this is going to be probably one of the most not only surprising but incredible experience tasting these wines. So I'm really excited. There's a 95 points Chardonnay in there, 95 points Pinot Noir, not only from me, but and I think my lowest score in the whole thing, it's 92 points. My lowest.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
He doesn't give 92 points very easily. Anything 92 and above, this like pulling teeth out of Carl.
So yeah. So after that is Clausen Chase. Mira's going to take a couple weeks off, in the sense that working on some of the project that we have on the go here. So there's going to be it's going to be a few weeks where there's no feature. And when I come back, the week of I'm coming back, it's mayhem. We're going to do Mayhem Winery.
It will be mayhem when you
It's
come
going to
back.
be mayhem. We're doing Mayhem Winery, the sister winery of Meyer family vineyard in Okanagan Falls. So we're going to have some Sauvignon Blanc, and that's what you have in your glass. 2 Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay, well, I only have the nose left on this one. I know I really enjoyed it. Let's see if I can guess the reserve. So Blanc.
No, this is the one that your glass is empty.
See, makes it pretty simple. I was gonna say they're both pretty good. I did drink this one really fast, but
yeah. Let me check here. Yep. So that's the regular one, and you got the anarchist oak.
My
barrel
taste
aged.
buds have expensive tastes sometimes, but
I can tell you,
it's fun.
So that's where we're going. So thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in.
Cheers, guys.
Next week and a couple following weeks, you are in good hands with my partner. But I'm going to be watching you guys. So thank you very much. Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members.
Cheers.
Cheers.